What's going on about this Afro think tank? A family gets arrested for supposedly kidnapping 16 children. They had them locked up like slaves inside a house. Four of them. An old man, a young boy, an older woman, and a younger woman. A whole family of just sickos. And of course, it's the usual suspects, obviously, right? It's not something we do, right? And then what kind of community do they live in to where you can hide sick? And this is for years. 16 children in a house, small house, in the countryside. Nobody noticed. Nobody knew that they even had children. The neighbors said they didn't even know there was kids in the house. What level of what are we missing here? There's a level of dysfunction in this certain demographics community that doesn't seem to be mapped, doesn't seem to be charted, doesn't seem to be researched and documented properly. Because this is not human. You understand what I'm saying? This is not even like of the animal kingdom. Like, this is pure, unadulterated evil manifested. What desires does one have to do this to people? How does one rationalize doing this to other people? What kind of society develops these kind of people on a regular basis? Because this is not like a one-off. This is something that happens, quite honestly, like almost every other day. And you would think if the news was unbiased and they actually told the stories of in the 70 or 60% of white America, these type of activities that constantly get caught but never get any type of news coverage, all manner of just diabolical criminal activity and subhuman devilish activities that white people do inside the White House of your communities that you hide. And you know who that hurts the most? It hurts you. The mere fact that your media, your law enforcement, your leadership hides this from the greater public, right? Making you guys believe that around you, even though it's dangerous as hell around you, even though you guys are living in a dangerous environment, you walk outside believing that you're living in a pristine environment where there's no danger. I hear how white people talk, all white community where there's no violence and this, and I'm like, what fantasy are you living in? There's never been in the history of mankind a white community that was able to be all white and peaceful at the same time. Never. And we're not going to talk about the Dutch. All right, they got other shit. You see, even the Dutch, we look at the Dutch and all them people up the Netherlands and shit, like they're like the prime example of white folks. When we know, in fact, in their drug and back alleys, they have a massive pedophile industry there, where they do things. Y'all remember that movie, Centipede? Have you ever seen the movie Hostel, where they show what these white men do, what their criminal activities are in these European places where conservative white values reign supreme? How these women are in these goddamn drug dens getting raped. How a lot of your American women that end up on them milk cartons end up over there in East Africa getting slimed on by some nasty, rich, fat, coke-infested oligarch, while they're getting pumped with all kind of drugs so they can just be a dead fish with a vagina on a dirty mattress in some freaking hostel in a back alley somewhere. That's what they do over there. It's nasty over there. Don't let them believe that their social systems, that those people don't got their nasty shit. They do nasty shit. And y'all guys do nasty. This is normal European behavior. Like the criminal activities you do. Like, we got the things black folks do, right? We shoot each other. I mean, everybody shoots each other, so that's not even a thing, right? That you can even say that's a us thing. That's an everybody thing with a gun and poverty. But we do stuff like, we rob, right? We scam. You think about black folks, we may steal some cars and shit. You know what I'm saying? We'll snatch an old lady purse and shit. you know, at the lowest realms. We'll sell crack, heroin, all manners of drugs. So we'll do that. I mean, I can admit that, right? But you guys, y'all got a cultural epidemic of PDF file and just devilish shit that happens on a regular basis. That just happens on a regular, like Monday, Tuesday. I bet you every day this happens. Every day some local law enforcement is arresting some sicko like these people right here. And then they make these ABC, NBC, and CBS movies about it. And they put it in their little epilogues and their, you know, and their TV shows and shit. And we just sit there and watch it. And we know damn well that shit happened in real life. And I know it happens in Europe. And I know what you guys are into. I seen it. Y'all, man, y'all know what? Y'all got a lot of shit, man. I don't know how y'all live like that. I don't know how your children survive in y'all communities. I see why white people say they don't feel safe around a bunch of white men. They always find me weird. They be like, white women always say they don't feel safe around a bunch of white people. Why? I think I know why. The shit y'all talk about when nobody is around, you don't think nobody can hear you. The shit y'all do when y'all can get away with it. And we already see the best of you, or what y'all consider the best of you because you put them in charge. We see what they do. The Epstein class. So that means that the lower classes are just as bad as the Epstein class. The reason why they not the Epstein class because they ain't got no money. Had they had the opportunity, they would do exactly the same thing. On every level of social society within Western civilization, you can find some scumbags participating in this kind of activity. Regularly. I don't know what to say. Anyway. You guys tell me what you think in the comment section. This Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
More details, but there's two words that investigators keep using, and that's pure evil. And it's because they saw what was inside this house. They're describing what they saw inside this rural home. 16 children in deplorable conditions, in dire need of medical treatment. And now 4 suspects are being charged with 16 counts each, all 4 pleading not guilty. The Ohio Attorney General gave us an update on the case just about an hour ago.
I've done these types of cases for a long time, and I've been in incredibly poverty-stricken areas in the inner city. I've been in poverty-stricken areas in rural Ohio, and I've just never seen anything like I saw today.
Joining me now is Alex Perche and our legal analyst, Brian Buckmeyer. And if you don't mind, guys, if we have the picture of the 4 suspects, because one of the most important things that investigators are trying to do right now is to get any information on these 4 people. This is the Siders family. You've got Elizabeth Siders there with the long, dark hair in the corner. Next to her is Gary Siders Sr. Then Christina Siders is the older woman at the top of your screen. And then the younger man is Gary Siders Jr. These are the 4 people that have been arrested. These are the 4 people that the AG and the prosecutor describe as pure evil. They're not going to get anywhere near those 16 children. That's what we're learning now, because they are in police custody, all of them being evaluated and checked out. And one of the most disturbing things that the sheriff said, he has seen his livestock treated better than these 16 children. They were found in a 12 by 12 space surrounded by human feces. He said it was just disgusting. Both of whom, the sheriff and also the attorney general, said they've never seen anything like this in their life. Alex Perche, the details are horrifying. One thing that did stand out to me, though, the sheriff saying the only joy that we're seeing in this is that we're going to change 16 lives for the better.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, that's the only place to kind of go from here if you're law enforcement. But as you mentioned, Kira, I mean, this is something that Ohio authorities have called unimaginable. We heard from the state attorney general, Andy Wilson, who said this looked like a third world country, that he can't get the smell out of his head. And as you mentioned, the sheriff there for Vinton County said that he had seen livestock kept in better condition than the children inside of those houses, but 16 of them inside. They range in ages from 18 months months to 18 years old. They were largely kept in that 12 by 12 area. And we're also told that this is an interfamilial situation. It's not a human trafficking case, according to law enforcement. But 7 of those children had to be taken to Columbus area hospitals. 2 of them were airlifted, and at least 1 child had to be intubated. Police say they actually stumbled upon this situation. They were executing a search warrant in a parallel investigation when they found this house with all those children inside. And as you mentioned, the 4 individuals, Gary Siders Sr., Gary Siders Jr., Christina Siders, and Elizabeth Siders, have all pleaded not guilty to the 16 counts against them. And now, Kira, those children are in the process of being placed. And the sheriff says timing was of the essence here, because had they waited another 24 hours, they would likely be dealing with a death.
So, Alex, let me ask you, you say they stumbled upon this while they were carrying out another search warrant. Were they carrying out a search warrant on this home? Was it tied to these family members?
So that search warrant was related to a parallel investigation, but Kira, that is it's a fascinating question. It's an important question, but right now authorities have been pretty kind of cagey about what actually tipped them off, what this parallel investigation entails, or why that particular house was highlighted by law enforcement. It's something that we still don't yet know. The other thing that I would say is for that community, it was actually a shock that children were even inside of that house. We've heard from neighbors, and even law enforcement repeated this afternoon, that a lot of folks didn't even know that the Siders had kids. That is how tightly they kept a grasp on these 16 children. Authorities saying that was also an indicator that they knew that they were doing something wrong here.
All right, so Brian, gosh, I mean, how do you even defend 4 people like this? I guess that's one question I have for you as a defense attorney. But also, what charges do these 4 individuals face? I mean, I don't think anybody, if they, are, we have to say alleged crimes right now, but they were found in the home with these kids. They're behind bars. The AG, the prosecutor, they've seen the evidence. What's going to happen to these 4 people?
Yes, Akira. So a lot to unpack there, but I'll do it like this. They are charged with multiple counts. It was called child endangerment in the 2nd degree in the state of Ohio. That's punishable by 2 to 8 years in prison. And I don't imagine there will be a judge who's going to say, you know what, we'll run these charges concurrently, meaning at the same time. I could see a judge saying for each and every one of those children, we're going to have some amount of prison time. So if you do the math, you're really looking at not 2 to 8 per charge. You're looking at 16 to 128 years in prison, depending on how the judge wants to stack these charges. When it comes to defending, we as defense attorneys, we compartmentalize. I understand how horrible these allegations are, not just as a defense attorney myself, but also as a father. But the way that we do it is everyone deserves their opportunity in court to make the argument. It depends on whose house this is. Who has mail going to the house? Were some of these people merely visiting and simply were there at the wrong place and the wrong time? What was their knowledge of what was going on in that home? And what I can imagine is the first person, and I say the first person because there probably will be a first person, the first person to speak to prosecutors and give up information and hope for a better deal is going to find himself in a much better place than the other 3.
Let me ask you, Brian, real quickly, because you just mentioned something, and I can give you a bit of information, and that the home's ownership is listed to a trustee whose name is not among the 4 people that have been charged. This is information that our producers were able to get. It's reportable. Apparently, as of 2025, the total assessment valuation for the property was $68,670. You saw the condition of this home, but ownership listed to a trustee whose name is not among the 4 people charged. Apparently, they've been living in this home for 4 years.
Yeah, and so I think a big thing is going to be talking to the community, right? Talking to neighbors. Who did you see coming in and out of the home? How often? What was their schedule? We've heard reporting that people didn't even know there were children in that home, or to the extent of how many children there were there. And who is moving in and out of there, bringing groceries, picking up things, dropping off things? That's going to be a big part of the prosecution, because the defense is going to try to wiggle their way out of this and saying, I didn't know what was going on. But this is a home that, from my understanding, had 5 rooms, not 5 bedrooms, but 5 rooms, and was 1,300 square feet. You're not going to miss 16 children there. And so make the arguments that you want, but I think this is a very difficult case for the defense, and probably should be if these allegations are in fact true.
And as you heard the sheriff, 16 kids living in a 12 by 12 space. It's heart-wrenching. Brian Buckmeyer, Alex Brochet, we're going to stay on this story, of course.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan. Boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.